Welcome to another edition of Yankees Latest. I'm Marc Malusis, Fan Arch Network. A good Thursday, one and all. Bombers are up at Fenway Park to take on the Red Sox, begin the series there. But we look back to the Wednesday action as Yankees came through and knocked off the Detroit Tigers 4-2 the final last night out in Detroit. And a couple of things you take away from this one. Number one is, you get to Skubal. I mean, anytime you go into a start in which you're taking on Tarik Skubal of the Detroit Tigers and you got Weathers on the mound, you're at a little bit of a competitive disadvantage, right? The other aspect of it when you look at this matchup is, the Yankees very, very top-heavy. We'll get to that momentarily when you look at the top part of the lineup. Goldschmidt, obviously. But let's focus in on Jason Dominguez because there are certain games, and confidence is king. Anytime you look at Major League Baseball, or really any professional athlete, right? If you're looking at NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, you want to look at professional lacrosse, you want to look at soccer, World Cup going on, everything that's going on, right? Confidence is king, right? You got to be feeling good about yourself, right? You wake up some days you feel good about yourself, some days you don't, right? Some days you feel like you can conquer the world. Some days you feel like the world is conquering you, right? Confidence is king. You want to feel good about yourself on a day in, day out basis. I bring that up because sometimes games lead to a point where you can maybe point to as being a little bit of a turning point. And last night's home run by Jason Dominguez in the top half of the sixth inning to give the Yankees a 4-2 lead, with that home run coming off of Tarik Skubal of the Detroit Tigers, that could be a turning point here when you're looking at Jason Dominguez. It really can. We've been waiting for Dominguez, who started out in right field last night, to go out there and become the player that the Yankee fan had anticipated that he was going to become, right? The Martian, right? We've known about Jason Dominguez, who's now 23. We've known about him for about, 6-7 years now. I mean, since he joined the Yankee organization, international signing, when he was all of 16 years old, right? So we've known about him for a long, long time, right? And the belief was he was this physical freak, physical marvel, and he was going to be unbelievable when he makes it to the major league level. Hasn't exactly been that, right? But hitting 229 on the season, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, OPS sitting there at 703, right? Hitting 250 in the month of June since he came back from that shoulder injury after running into the wall out there in left field. You look at Dominguez, and maybe last night ends up being a turning point this season for Dominguez. Maybe last night ends up being one of those things where you circle it on the calendar, right? The 24th of June, a Wednesday night in Detroit, and you say that's a little bit of a turning point when you're looking at Dominguez for the 2026 season. Why you say that? Well, because that's a big-time home run. Make no bones about it. I understand it's a regular season home run. It's not October, but I'm just talking about for the individuality of the player, right? When you're looking at him individually, when you're looking at his moment and having, a moment, 2-2 game, 6th inning, you're up at the plate, man on, Skubal on the mound, and you hit a 2-run home run as the Yankees end up winning the game 4-2. That's a big-time moment. I mean, because of the pitcher that you're going up against. Even if he had not been particularly sharp, that's a big-time moment when you're looking at Jason Dominguez. And so you hope that maybe that's a building block here for Dominguez moving forward. I don't think there's any question about it. And so, that's where I come out of last night's game. Listen, Yankees win a series. They're sitting there and, they've extended their lead in the American League East, right? And they're sitting there right now at 17 games over the 500 mark at 48-31. They're going up to Boston to take on the Red Sox later on tonight up at Fenway Park. And always love series up at Fenway. And the Yankees are 17 games over. You got Cam Schlittler on the mound, and we'll get that into that matchup here momentarily. But I thought last night was a big-time moment for Jason Dominguez, and I think he deserves a little bit of love, deserves a little bit of a credit. And if you, the Yankee fan, you, sitting at home, look at it and say to yourself, all right, well, what exactly does that game mean, right? Detroit's not going anywhere. Skubal's been more in the trade kind of market in terms of where he potentially could end up come the MLB trade deadline. All of that is true, right? And the Tigers haven't exactly been what you expected them to be. Yankees, good job winning the 2 back-end games of the 3-game set to take the series against Detroit. But even though Detroit's not going anywhere, and even though the Yankees are not going to be defined by what they do in the regular season, sometimes there are moments over the course of a season in which you maybe point to. And maybe it is I'm just telling you, as you're sitting here, watching me here on this Thursday, um, circle that moment for Jason Dominguez because maybe that ends up being a little bit of a turning point or a launching pad for him for the rest of the season. We'll only find out together, right? As far as Paul Goldschmidt is concerned, and this top of the lineup last night was fantastic. It really was. And there's two key points when you come out of it. The top half was really good. When you look at Goldschmidt, was 204. Ben Rice had a couple of hits. Jason Dominguez, we mentioned it, the big home run off of Tarek Skubal. Bellinger gave hits. So you look at it, the Yankees ended up with the game with, 6 hits, scored 4 runs, right? All 6 of those hits came from the first 4 batters in the lineup. Goldschmidt, Rice, Dominguez, Bellinger. You look at it, Volpe 0 for 4. Chisholm went 0 for 4. Caballero went 0 for 3. Wells went 0 for 3. They got nothing, little to no production from the rest of the lineup. I mean, none whatsoever when you look at it. Nobody even got on base. I mean, that's embarrassing when you look at it overall. I mean, everything and all the production came from the top part of that lineup. Now, you might say to yourself, well, that's not sustainable. Well, that is true. I mean, that is not sustainable in any way, shape, or form, right? No matter how you cut it, right? And it's been a concern for the Yankees, even though with them being 17 games over the 500 mark, it's been a concern for the Yankees all season long when you're looking at the top part of the lineup. Now, the lineup has been, shrunk and marginalized because of the fact of the injuries you're dealing with, right? No Grisham playing center field, no Judge playing right field, no Giancarlo Stanton as your designated hitter. More and more of the focus is turned in on Ben Rice and obviously Bellinger, and Goldschmidt, who we'll get to here momentarily, has been really, really good. And it kind of continues to emphasize the point of what the Yankees potentially need to do come the MLB trade deadline. And I bring that up because I think it's interesting that, more heat, more rumors are circulating around Ryan Jeffers, the catcher from the Minnesota Twins, about potentially him being a landing spot. I know there was speculation online yesterday what it would cost the Yankees in order to get him potentially. Some speculated that maybe their number 5 prospect, when you're looking at Ben Hess, would be a guy to be able to that you'd have to give up to Minnesota to go get Jeffers. And Jeffers this season, even though he's been banged up, has been really good this year. 122 at bats. He's got 7 home runs, 295 batting average. 949 OPS. He's got great defense behind home plate as well. And that's going to be a situation where the Yankees are going to go out there and have to address, right? I mean, Chisholm, we've talked about him before. There are certain guys on this team that really aren't going anywhere, right? Jazz Chisholm, who the Yankees speculated about potentially moving during the course of the offseason. Well, I mean, Jazz Chisholm contract year. We know that we're going to be looking at a new CBA following this season. Well, Jazz Chisholm isn't really going anywhere. Neither is like a guy like Anthony Volpe, right? Jose Caballero, you get concerned about whether or not you're squeezing the lemon a little too much when you're looking at Jose Caballero, right? That's a concern, right? When you get a little concerned about what the lack of offensive production that you get from a Ryan McMahon, and you don't get much offensive production from a Ryan McMahon, right? But how many problems can you necessarily go out there and address, right? And how many problems are going to be rectified offensively when you look at this team? There's still concerns, lack of situational hitting with runners in scoring position. We're coming off a game last night in which the Yankees scored 4 runs, right? All of the production coming from the home run variety, right? Goldie hitting a couple, and you obviously had Jason Dominguez with the big 2-run home run in that top half of the 6th inning off Skubal, which we spent a little bit of time on. Now, what do you do in order to address some of these needs, right? Being home run reliant, lack of situational hitting. You want to be multiple, right? Boone talked about that, the comparison to Toronto Blue Jays a year ago, right? Want to have guys that can go out there and play multiple positions on this team. We'll get to Goldschmidt here momentarily, right? And he deserves a lot of praise and a little bit of love for the way that he has stepped up offensively here. But how many needs can you address if you're the New York Yankees? Jeffers is a guy that would rectify a number of them. He really would be. You pair Jeffers with Wells behind home plate, and the fact that, he hits for an average, and I think average is still important in today's day and age of Major League Baseball. I really do, right? So you look at some that have minimized it and say, well, it doesn't really necessarily mean all that thing. It's not an indicator of a good hitter, which I think is complete and utter nonsense. Well, we're going to look at WAR. We're going to look at this. We're going to look at BABIP. Everything that we're going to look at in terms of analytically analyzing a baseball player. And we've got more statistics now than we've ever done before, right? The launch angle, what do you do? What do you emphasize in terms of your lineup? How much information? Are you overwhelming your hitters? Like all these things that we see now in today's day and age over a long 162 game MLB regular season. Well, with all that being said, Jeffers is a guy that's got, 7 home runs, hitting 295. His OPS is, north of 940. I mean, that's really good when you're looking at the catching situation. When you're looking at innings defensively, I wouldn't necessarily say he's, Benito Santiago behind home plate. Look that up in the history books if you don't know who Benito Santiago was. Or Tony Pena, I'll date myself even further, behind home plate. But I will tell you that, he's not going to be a negative. And when you look at the way that we have, the ABS system in Major League Baseball, it de-emphasizes in terms of defensive catchers and pitch framing more now than ever has before when you're looking across Major League Baseball. So if that was a point of emphasis before, it's less of a point of emphasis now. With that being said, Jeffers is a guy that's gettable. We talk about Goodman from Colorado. Some of the other, Pye and Adley Rutschman from the Baltimore Orioles kind of, if the moon's aligned, if the stars aligned, and you're willing to pay a king's ransom, maybe you could get one of those two catchers out of their respective spots, whether it be Colorado or whether it be Baltimore, right? Jeffers is gettable from Minnesota. I mean, that's the point, right? And he would be a significant upgrade when you're looking at this New York Yankee team. I don't think there's any question about it. So that's a name to keep in mind here moving forward if you're the Yankees. If you're a Yankee fan, would be Ryan Jeffers from the Minnesota Twins. And as you start to see, and we're sitting here late June now, MLB trade deadline early August. We're looking at, the better part of 4.5, 5 weeks before we hit that deadline. You say to yourself, well, what do the Yankees need to do? Well, the Yankees need to potentially go out there and address the catching situation. It's been a point of contention this entire year. The Yankee fans have screamed and hollered about it this entire year. It's got to be something that Cashman and company have to go out there and address because I've talked about it. It's got to be a great motivator this year to win. As long as you get everyone healthy back, right? We'd have a different context, different course of conversation if we were looking at Aaron Judge being lost for the season with that rib injury. He is not. Or if he was facing, thoracic outlet syndrome surgery. He is not. The starting rotation has all the earmarks of being a dominant one come October. Now you got to go out there and add. And Jeffers would be a guy that would be a really, really good add. And if it cost you the number 5 prospect in your farm system, and I'm not a prospect hoarder, there are some that are. I am not one that is. To go out there and to be able to get a catcher that, solidifies that position here moving forward and turns a weakness into a position of strength. And then you get guys like Grisham and Judge and Stanton back to go along with, obviously, what you're getting from Ben Rice, to go along what you're getting from Bellinger. All of a sudden, that bottom of the lineup looks a lot deeper and looks a lot different. But last night, was eye-opening. When you have 6 hits as a team, all 6 of those hits from the top 4 hitters of your lineup, you don't get little to no production from hitters 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in your lineup. That's a concern. There's no doubt. Goldschmidt deserves a little bit of love as well because, it is remarkable. It is really remarkable what you're getting from Goldschmidt right now offensively. It's something to be, said about the fact that, he is 38 years old. He's giving you 297, 14 home runs, 39 RBIs. His OPS is 923. I mean, look at what Goldschmidt's given you this year, and then look at what Goldschmidt gave you last year. Do you realize last year his OPS was 731 in 146 games and 489 at-bats? He had 10 home runs. He had 45 RBIs. He's got 14 home runs and 39 RBIs in 54 games so far this season. I'm not going to be all that's concerned. His batting average was 274. It's 297 this year. He's got a career batting average of 288. On-base percentage has improved. It's right around 36%. Last year is right around 33%. That's improved. All the numbers you've seen an uptick, right? If you want to look at his slugging percentage, last year was 403. This year it's 568. Remarkable. I mean, when you think about it, The last time Paul Goldschmidt had an OPS over 900 on the season, you have to go back to 2022 with the St. Louis Cardinals, where he had an OPS of 981. He had 35 home runs, had 115 RBIs. Think about that. He's 38 years old, right? The concern you have with Goldschmidt, though, is how long will it last? Like that's the issue. It's great now, right? It's unbelievable what he is doing, and I got to be honest with you, it is. We've spent some time here talking about it, and he deserves a lot of love because I thought when he signed, I didn't necessarily think that all of a sudden you were gonna see a rejuvenated Paul Goldschmidt here in 2026. You know what he is defensively. You know what he provides in that Yankee clubhouse, and he's a leader, and he's a good buddy of Aaron Judge. All of those things, right? So all those things are positives when you're looking at Paul Goldschmidt. He's a veteran, been there, done that, has seen it all. When you're looking at the context of Major League Baseball, it's remarkable, and he deserves more than just a little bit of a golf clap. I mean, it's one of those things. That's why you love baseball when you see these kind of storylines. When you see a guy. And I don't know how long it's going to last. I really don't. I'm stunned that we're sitting here in June and it's lasting as long as it's lasted this year, right? It might in August we might be having a completely different conversation about Paul Goldschmidt. But here's where he deserves credit. We talk about a game last night in which they knock off the Tigers 4-2. Goldschmidt hits 2 home runs, drives in 2. Right, the big Dominguez home run in the 6th inning off of Skubal. You win a game in which you have a decided pitching disadvantage going into it. With that, Goldschmidt deserves love because he is stepping up when this team needs it. Imagine if he wasn't doing what he's doing, and then you were reliant basically on, in essence, 2 guys in Rice and Bellinger, and you didn't have that third. The positive last night was you got the production from Dominguez, which maybe ends up being a launching point, maybe it doesn't. But Goldschmidt deserves a ton of love where you look at him statistically this year, you're looking at a guy at 38, former dominant offensive player. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. To be able to give you what he is giving you this year has been remarkable. And that's why I love baseball. I mean, that's why we watch. That's why we enjoy it. When you have these kind of a seasons, do I think this is repeatable? Do I think this is all of a sudden Paul Goldschmidt is going to be finding it and have a rejuvenated career at 38, 39, 40, 41 years old? No, I don't. But this is what makes baseball great. Like if the Yankees end up winning a World Series this year, winning the American League East, and we talk about it's the Yankees and everybody else, right? He's going to be one of those guys that you're going to have to circle and say to yourself, thank you, right? Thank you for what you did during the regular season when this team needed you the most, when this team needed you to be able to be offensively productive. And we know he's going to go out there and kill lefties. I mean, did a year ago, continues to do so now. We talk about not squeezing the lemon. Well, the Yankees right now have got no other choice, right? They really don't, because the lineup is as meek and as top-heavy as it is right now. We spent a little time this morning talking about it. So all in all, though, I think Goldschmidt deserves a lot of love and deserves a lot of praise. I don't think there's any doubt. And the fact that he's got an OPS north of 900 here through 54 games at 38 is just downright remarkable. I love Yankees Red Sox. I do. I love Fenway Park. I miss the old Yankee Stadium. I've spent time talking about it before. The new stadium's nice. A lot of signage. A lot of sponsorships. I miss the old kind of feel of the old Yankee Stadium where, you were right on top of the field. I don't know if I necessarily need to be sitting in, the bougie seats where it's like, enjoying a Yankee game, having a lobster tail. Like, I'm one of those guys, like, give me a hot dog, a pretzel, a beer, soda, water, whatever it might be, a little popcorn. I'm not a big Cracker Jack guy, but still, I get it. The kids like it. You get the point. I don't need to have sushi or a steak sandwich, right? So I'm a little bit more of an old school kind of a baseball fan when you go to the ballpark, right? You like to enjoy what you traditionally get at ballpark food, right? Fenway Park's awesome. It is. If you've never been, you got to go. Even if you hate the Red Sox, and I get it, if you're a Yankee fan, you hate the Red Sox, but you got to go. It is, an unbelievable place to go watch a baseball game. It really is. Sit up in the, go up and visit the monster seats, go up and enjoy that. You get a sense of the history of the Boston Red Sox. You really do. And the rivalry for the Yankees and the Red Sox, is it what it once was? No. And the fact that the Red Sox are sitting there 14 games on the 500 mark this season and not nearly being what many expected them to be this season, being one of the massive disappointments to go along with the Mets out in Queens, as you saw last night. The Mets losing to the Chicago Cubs, and Met fans out at Citi Field chanting Pete Alonso, Pete Alonso. I mean, that has got to be salt in the wounds for David Stearns and Steve Cohen, the owner of the New York Mets. But I digress. It's still fun whenever you get Yankees Red Sox June series, and you've got early on the mound tonight for Boston, and Cam Schlittler on the mound for the New York Yankees. And Schlittler on the season 8-3, 1.71 ERA, 0.89 WHIP. He's got 109 strikeouts in 95 innings of work, and it's been one of those reasons, right? One of the things that you think about when you're looking at when you're thinking about this Yankee team potentially winning a World Series come October, and you think about the dominant starting rotation. Well, Cam Schlittler's really right at the top of that list, and he's the best pitcher in the Yankee rotation right now. I don't think there's any question about it. With the kind of couple steps forward, one step back from what you're getting from Rodon and also from Garrett Cole, both guys coming off of arm surgeries, one more significant than the other. Schlittler's been that guy that you love, right? Relying on the fastball, throws with great velocity, competitive in the strike zone. You love it. Yankees, Red Sox, even though it's not what it once was, and doesn't necessarily have the same personalities, and it's not going to be what it once was this year because Boston stinks. I mean, that's it, right? And so you expect the Yankees to go up into Boston and knock it off. Now, are you going to see the Red Sox be, because it's the Yankees, maybe a little bit more pushback? I would expect so. But you love the fact that Schlittler's starting the series later on tonight. Should be a fun one up there at a beautiful ballpark for baseball, and you get a sense of the history of Yankees, Red Sox, and the history of baseball on the whole if you ever get a chance to go up to Fenway Park and watch a little Red Sox baseball, because it is an absolute scene, and you got to go there at some point in your life. Got to be on that old bucket list. Anyway, that does it for this edition of Yankees Latest. I'm Marc Malusis. A little Goldie Love. Dominguez, maybe last night, a little bit of a launching point for him with that big home run off of Skubal in the 6th inning. Yankees take a series against the Tigers, still in first place on this Thursday in the American League East. 17 games over the 500 mark. Bombers would love to get a little bit more production. Keep an eye on that Jeffers market, the Minnesota Twins catcher, who's been banged up this year, but seems to be the apple of the eye of the New York Yankees as they try and resolve a massive issue behind home plate from a production standpoint. Have yourself a wonderful Thursday. This has been Yankees Latest. I'm Marc Malusis right here. See you tomorrow, Fan Arch Network.